Now let's turn to another big news story, and it's the first visit to Seoul by a head of state from an ASEAN member country, and not any old ASEAN country either. Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte spent Monday afternoon at South Korea's top office with a summit with President Moon Jae-in. Our Cheongwadae correspondent Hwang Hojun has more on what the two leaders had to discuss.
May our relations remain strong and continue to thrive for the benefit of both the Korean and Filipino people. After writing that message in the Cheongwadae guestbook, Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte and his South Korean counterpart held a summit meeting together on Monday. President Duterte is the first head of state from an ASEAN member country to visit Seoul since President Moon took office. But this was actually the second time the current presidents of South Korea and the Philippines have met. The first was on the sidelines of the ASEAN Plus 3 summit and the East Asian Summit last November. In Monday's meeting, the two leaders highly evaluated the 69 years of diplomatic relations between their countries.
한국과 필리핀은 한국 전쟁을 통해 다진 굳건한 우호관계를 토대로 지난 70년간 정치, 경제, 문화, 인적 교류 등 모든 분야에서 눈부신 성과를 이루어 오고 있습니다.
President Moon noted that South Korea is the Philippines' fifth largest trading partner and that human exchanges between the two countries have risen steadily. And to further promote such partnerships, the two leaders agreed to designate 2019 a Visit South Korea-Philippines year, which will mark the 70th anniversary of the two countries establishing diplomatic ties. According to a Blue House press release, the South Korean president also expressed his gratitude for the Philippines' support for the Moon administration's efforts to peacefully resolve the North Korea nuclear issue, as well as for the recent improvements in inter-Korean relations. The two leaders pledged their commitment to the denuclearization and establishment of peace on the Korean peninsula. Also discussed during their meeting was economic cooperation between Seoul and Manila. President Duterte said that President Moon's new Southern policy, which seeks to expand South Korea's diplomatic relations and economic cooperation with ASEAN nations, will help the Philippines achieve its own economic goal. Known as the Ambición Natin 2040, President Duterte's own long-term policy is aimed at transforming the Philippines into a mid to high-income nation by the year 2040 by creating a trustworthy, poverty-free middle-class society. Soon after their summit, Presidents Moon and Duterte signed an MOU pledging cooperation between their two countries in areas including transportation, trade, and renewable energy, which was then followed by a joint press conference. And to honor the visiting Philippine president, a dinner banquet and cultural performances were hosted by the South Korean president. President Duterte will leave for Manila on Tuesday. Hwang Hojun, Arirang News.